Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the Golden Era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today I'd like to talk about a recent article I read about Steve Reeves, written by Dennis Weis, also known as the Yukon Hercules. Within the article, Weis presents quotes from an interview with Reeves, and although the article focuses on Steve Reeves' methods of training and how he achieved his immortal physique, within the article we learn of Steve's strong stance against steroids and that he took B12 shots with the aim of getting an edge over his competition. Now, there is no doubt that Reeves had the rugged, handsome physique that we all remember as shown in these immortal photos, these immortal snapshots of Reeves. You can see that he's got those rugged, handsome looks, the golden tan, that magnificent, incomparable physique of classic lines, proportions that we continue to appreciate. I mean, not only bodybuilders, but the average man and woman still appreciates today. Reeves definitely impacted the idea of muscle aesthetics, of shape, of symmetry, and he really set a standard that still exists today. Those broad champion shoulders, that colossal wide back, that tiny etched waist, the trim hips, those thick formidable thighs and diamond shaped calves. But this admittance to getting B12 shots definitely raises alarm bells. It shows that indeed some Silver Era bodybuilders were already using science to improve their physiques. I would now like to go through specific quotes of this article and share these quotes from Reeves with you. Enjoy. As mentioned earlier, Steve Reeves took a very strong stance against steroids, and in the article he tells Dennis Weis the following: "I don't believe in bodybuilders using steroids. If a man doesn't have enough male hormones in his system to create a nice, hard, muscular body, he should take up ping pong." And this is kind of the one quote that I've read over and over again about Reeves and his strong stance against roids, and therefore for this reason he's truly seen as the epitome of what can be achieved as a natural bodybuilder, as shown in this fantastic photograph, I believe by Russ Warner. As Dennis Weis states in the article, Steve's quote regarding anabolic steroids is interesting because they have been for decades the key to contemporary size. But back in the 50s, before anabolic steroids were used, Steve evidently was into vitamin B12 shots as a means to up the muscle gain factor in his dynamic physique. And this was admitted to Dennis Weis by Steve Reeves. So we learn that although Reeves was against the use of anabolic steroids that were created during the 1950s, well after Reeves had retired from competition, he was in favor, though, of enhancing his physique through other ways, such as regular injections with vitamin B12. This does raise the question that, assuming Reeves did not use, for example, testosterone, what other things did he try besides vitamin B12, if any at all? Now, vitamin B12 is known to metabolize proteins into amino acids, which is very important, of course, for them to finally circulate around the blood and allow muscle growth to happen and repair. Vitamin B12 is also very important in the metabolism of fat, and therefore is thought to improve fat loss in bodybuilders. It is also thought to enhance the mood, increase energy levels, and therefore overall enhance the muscularity of the bodybuilder's physique. However, as a final point of discussion, it is interesting to note that during the 80s and 90s especially, vitamin B12 shots were used and administered in many different gyms and administered by coaches and instructors actually to unknowing students and teens. These B12 shots, that's how they were called, were actually concoctions of steroids, and because of this, skeptics will argue that B12 shots are simply a gym jargon, a code word, so to speak, for steroid shots. However, this does not necessarily mean that Reeves took steroids, because remember, they did not exist back then. They weren't even created. However, many skeptics take that particular statement of Reeves in this particular article to argue the point that he did in fact use performance-enhancing drugs. Now, if you'd like to learn more about the training principles of Steve Reeves and how he developed his physique to win the Mr. America title, the Mr. World and the Mr. Universe, the greatest titles at the time, you can check out my website www.goldenerabookworm.com for self-written books on his methods for developing the calves, how Steve Reeves developed his broad shoulders, and what he did to develop his tiny waist, all available on www.goldenerabookworm.com. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video about Steve Reeves' admittance to using vitamin B12 shots. What do you think about this? I'd like to hear your comments. And as this is probably going to cause a lot of controversy and arguments, and yeah, a lot of emotions will probably be spilt all over the comment section. But I still found it very interesting that Reeves did admit to using vitamin B12 at least. At least we know that's true. I mean, I can only go by what I've read from people that have actually, in fact, interviewed him. There are, of course, stories floating around from other people, but I know, for example, the story in one of Arnold's unauthorized biographies where a certain person accuses Reeves of having admitted to using steroids, and this was in, I think, this person, I think it was Arnold's mentor, states in this particular biography of Arnold Schwarzenegger that he met Reeves in Paris in 1952, I believe, and that Reeves told him that he used steroids there. But this in fact is not true, because the guy actually states that Reeves used Dianabol, and Dianabol wasn't actually created until the late 50s, so that's actually impossible, an impossible statement to believe. But yeah, there are many theories of Reeves floating around, but at least this one I actually do, this particular statement I believe, because it actually comes from an interview directly with Steve Reeves. Anyway, once again, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm, leave me your comments, and thank you for watching. If you'd like to support my research and work, please donate via PayPal. You can become a patron on my Patreon account. The links are given below. You can also visit my website for out of print old school bodybuilding books and courses, and you can also get in touch via email at goldenerabookworm at gmail.com. That's goldenerabookworm@gmail.com. If you wish to pass on, for example, any magazines and books from your own collection, I'm always adding to my collection as well. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the video. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now. And for an entertaining look at the history of bodybuilding's supplement industry, I would highly recommend watching Subs the Movie, which I have collaborated in, available at Amazon Prime and Vimeo.
Hi everybody, I just want to recommend this phenomenal book, Vince's Secret Locker, volume number 2 by Carl Coyne. I've been looking at this for about 4 weeks and I can't put it down. If you get a chance, check it out. He also has a part 1 that I highly recommend also. Vince was the trainer to the stars and had an amazing, interesting gym that today there's still not equipment like it around. It was all made out of wood. He'll be on our radio show coming up probably in the next couple weeks or so. Have a great day, and again, highly recommend this book.